Hey everybody, Vanessa Wheeler here again with Premier Guitar. Before you do anything else, don't forget to like and subscribe below. Today we are looking at one of the coolest reverb pedals I've ever heard and one of the most unique in construction. It employs a real spring, a very tiny spring, and optical sensors to deliver extremely unique sounds. It's the Light Pedal by Gamechanger Audio, so let's check it out. We have famously a tiny little spring in the center and optical sensors that allow you to capture the full vibration of the spring, much like a series of pickups captures different qualities of sound along the length of a string's vibration. On the left-hand side, we have a mix knob for the dry signal to the affected signal, a spring mix knob, an optical mix knob, and tone, which allows you to change between a warmer reverb and a brighter reverb. We also have a tail switch on the top of the left side, which allows you to turn on the decay or turn it off when you have the pedal disengaged. On the right hand side, we have our effects selection. The first three are effects allocated to the optical sensors. The next three, starting with reflect, are effects allocated to the spring. You can put these in different combinations by holding down the foot switch, moving the knob to one of the other effects, and letting go. So let's say, for example, we want to select optics, then we hold down the foot switch, move it to feedback, and make our changes, and then we've got a newfangled combination of effects that we didn't have before. On the right hand side, the control knob serves different functions per effect. Drive drives the spring reverb and can get really crazy, and gate can cut off the effect and just bring it in really quickly when you have it counterclockwise all the way, and then sweeps in intensity to the opposite side, which almost has a pre-delay effect where you have your dry signal come in and then the effect comes in. So this is really useful for a lot of rhythmic playing. At the top of the right hand side, we also have a latch switch, which allows you to just kick on an effect if you want it on momentarily. On the back of the pedal, we have an in, an out, an expression pedal, all pretty self-explanatory. And we have a shock sensor switch, which is cool. You can have the shock off, so if you hit the pedal, it's not going to make any noise. You can have it on soft, so it kind of fades in, or like a standard spring tank, although it sounds different. You can kick the tank and it can give you a nice cacophonous rattle depending on what setting you have on. For my signal flow, I am playing a Creston Electric. It is a traditional style with a maple neck 24.75 scale with 3 Lawler pickups, a Charlie Christian in the neck and middle, and a BS model in the bridge. I have a blend knob as well, but I'm mostly sitting in the bridge this time. Then I'm going into the light pedal and then into the new Benson Amps Vinny Reverb. It's a 5-watt amp with variable power scaling with a tube. Then I'm going into the 2 Notes Torpedo Captor X, which allows me to record silently but still use my amp, which is awesome. Then I'm going into a Universal Audio Apollo Twin and into Logic. So in this first example, I'm just doing something really simple, something that we hear a lot with time-based effects. It's going from fast to slow or slow to fast. In this example, it's just the tremolo effect. Something about the way the light pedal does it is extremely sensitive. It's extremely musical. Maybe it's because I'm using a tube amp. I'm not sure what's going on, but I am in love with the quality of the sound. Let's check it out. In this next example, I'm using sweep in combination with feedback. I think I like using sweep in general because there's this undulation that happens when the effect is just moving through the different optical sensors, and feedback can feedback ad infinitum, or it can just give you a different pitch depending on how you set the control knob and drive functions. It really fills out the sound. So as a songwriter, I'm playing something really simple, but it gives a sense of constancy and momentum that you wouldn't get otherwise, even with delay. It feels really romantic, and it really fills out the sound. I'm sure you can use it in other ways, but this is where my ear led me. So let's check that out. In this next example, I'm using just the harmonic setting. It gives you a pitch depending on how you control this control knob here. I'm playing something really like pop punk, semi-aggressive, and I have the gate knob turned down, so it's just popping out and gating the sound. It adds just like a certain amount of peculiarity and harmonic tension that I find somewhat interesting and intriguing in a sound that you wouldn't normally hear. So I went for it. Let's check that out. In the last example, I have a combination of the tremolo and the harmony or harmonics together. I've got the tremolo really fast, again, because the pedal is mechanical. There's an unpredictability to the way it's going to respond. I think this setting in particular or in many of these settings, to be quite honest, is really great for sound design. It's creepy. There's like a growling that happens, especially with the breakup in my amp. So let's check that out. So I think it's fairly clear that I am really excited about this pedal. It makes me listen in a way that I haven't to guitar pedals in a long time. It's reminiscent of like an old analog synth where everyone you touch has kind of like its own special sauce, or let's say like vintage instruments. They each do something different, and I think because this is mechanical to an extent, although every effect is predictable, it just does the thing differently than I've heard. So I would love to run this through a completely electronic track that I'm producing, just to see what would happen, and because in this day and age, when things have become so regimented and on the grid, especially in popular music, this is going to give you that special sauce. Put it on your vocal, put it on anything really, just to see what will happen. I guarantee you, even though it doesn't have presets or whatever, that is beyond the point. And I can't believe I'm saying that, because most of the time I crave presets, I crave MIDI, but with something like this, you just plug it in truly and listen. And that's something I haven't experienced with a lot of gear these days, and there's no learning curve. a lot of the stuff is full of time that you have to dedicate. This is not. I mean, this is a tweaker's paradise. So get yourself one. I have been Vanessa Wheeler for Premier Guitar, and I will see you next time.